Good afternoon from our side. So we put together a few solutions for, let's say, energy efficient cities. Our company claims that we would like to be leaders in energy efficient envelopes of the buildings. And I think that each of our cities has plenty of buildings and they are not all very efficient insulated, and that's the field where we would like to act. So global sustainability, as Christoph already before said, it's a major challenge, and we are losing money by burning it for heating and cooling. On the other side, by this, we are generating much more green gas emissions than necessary. And on the other side, all the energens which we use for heating and cooling are scarce in supplies, so they're going down and down. Oil and gas are not in benefit. So if you look how the buildings are playing the critical role in the whole story, is the following. 40% of energy consumption in Europe is used by buildings, and half of this energy is wasted because of inefficient insulation. If you translate this in money, it means 270 billion euros every year it's wasted to inefficient insulation. Another thing, it means around 3.3 million barrels of oil, which could be saved by proper insulation of the buildings. And on the other side, if we convert this into the green gas emissions, it's 460 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions is generated for this waste heating. So you can see that's why buildings are very critical for reaching our sustainability targets. Europe is reacting because we recognize that, let's say, the energy we are wasting on heating and cooling the buildings, and on the other side, carbon dioxide we are generating during this is a big problem. So they put 2020 energy targets together for year 2020, and they say they would like to reduce 20% of greenhouse emissions versus the situation in 1990. The share of renewable energies in energy mix should be 20%, and at the same time, we should save 20% of energy consumption via energy efficiency. They put together also a directive, energy performance of building directives, which is handling with these things. What they say very clearly that all new buildings built in 2020 should be close or nearly zero energy. On the other side, all the buildings occupied by government or owned by government should be at the end of 2018 on the same level. Also, all the buildings which are going under major renovation should be close to these set targets. And by 2015, all member states should put in place some plan how to increase the number of zero energy buildings. Just a few, I think last week it was another directive passed, and it was a European Energy Efficient Directive, where they even more strict forward that in 2014, all the government buildings, let's say, which are new or owned by government, should reach certain targets which are set in the previously mentioned directive. On the other side, they put much more straightforward energy audits, not just for the buildings, public buildings and private buildings, but also for industry. On the other side, government should put together plans how they would achieve this energy saving targets, and at the same time also what kind of policies we'll make on this. But it's not enough just to have policies and to identify where we can save money or energy. It's also important that there are some funds available for this. And that's also part of this directive, which is saying, yes, EU member states are obliged to have financing facilities for this. So if you look what are the national standards at the moment, you see those lines are showing where the energy consumption per square meter is going. You see that things are going in the right direction. So going down toward the targets which Europe set for 2020. But where is Slovenia here? We see that 36% of energy used in Slovenia is used in building. On the other side, we paid 80 million euro penalties for emissions of CO2 in 2009. And our prices for energy, for oil, for heating, which we're using for heating, are increasing. I think it doubled in the last 3 years. So if you look on the other side, we have almost close to 100 million square meters of buildings, which 81% of these need to energy retrofit. So it means 81% of those buildings are not sufficiently insulated and are not according to the latest standards. What we are doing at the moment, we are renovating only 1.9% of those buildings according to the standards. If you calculate just briefly, quickly, it means with the current speed, we'll renovate all our building pool in next 40 years. 40 years means 2050, not 2020. What Europe expect, plus all the buildings which are not at the moment, which are at the moment still sufficiently insulated or performing according to the standards, will in the next 20, 30 years also not be anymore up to. So, what are the solutions? For sure, the biggest saving potential is in proper insulation of the houses. Because if you look how things look like, we are 80% of energy which is coming in the houses is coming by heating. 6% we are generating by using our cookers, ovens, and other devices, and 12% we are gaining by sun. On the other side, if you look where we are losing the energy, it's 36% is going out from the external walls, another 20 through the roof, 16 through windows, 15 we are losing by ventilation, and 13 goes down to the ground. So by proper insulation, you can eliminate altogether over 60% of the losses. That's just a simple example. If, let's say, a standard single-family house built in 1970 in Slovenia has a proper, let's say at the moment they're using 213 kilowatt hours of energy per square meter, and according to the standards, if they want to be according to the latest standards or to the 2020 targets, they should use around 40 kilowatts per hour, kilowatt hour per square meter. So it means the reduction should be over 80%, close to 80%. You see here by proper orders of renovation, so changing the windows, changing the facades, changing the roof, changing the heating systems, we can come to these targets. So our company, since our business is insulation, we focus mainly on the energy saving which can be done by house envelope, and this is just by renovation of facades and the roof, you can save 40% of your energy which is wasted. So if you in Slovenia would like to reach the targets, 2020 targets, we should renovate every year 7% of our building pool, which is 3.5 times more than we're doing today. And that would means in Slovenia, just for Slovenia, 190 million of energy saving, euros in energy saving. And in terms of reduction of CO2 emissions, it's 20%, they will go 20% down in comparison to today. So not, I would say, quite big numbers, and I would say the investments into this are not too big. So we see that the government is not doing enough on these things, and that also people are not aware how much they can save by energy by proper insulation of their houses. That's why we decided to launch a few projects on how to, let's say, raise awareness, how to generate more sales for us and more savings for the customers, for the people who are using living in these houses. So one project will be focused mainly on single-family houses. This one will be launched with the 1st of October. We call it Today for Tomorrow, and I will tell more about it later. The other one will be focused on multi-dwelling houses, and the third one on renovation of public buildings. We are working heavily on all those three, and we see that the biggest problem in all of them is financing. Financing and awareness, and people's awareness how much money they are losing every day. And this will be also the focus of our projects. So we really want to offer to the people, let's say in Slovenia, and Slovenia will act as a pilot for Europe, it offer one-stop shop. So it means at one site you can get everything from the information through the, let's say, proposals, how you can do the corrective measures, through the detailed project preparation, and then the whole package of the let's say, installation of the facade, of the whole facade system. So what we want to do is first to create awareness among people how important energy is. And I would like to show you a short movie, which is it's in Slovenian language. To show how we are losing money.
Danes ste izgubili 5 evrov. V preteklem mesecu ste izgubili 150 evrov. Letos ste izgubili že 1800 evrov. Edini razlog, da vas to ne moti, je dejstvo, da ne veste, da ste ta denar izgubili. V tem trenutku vam in še pol milijona drugim lastnikom domov denar požira nevidni pojav, ki vam pije energijo in finančne vire. Energijske izgube. Energijske izgube so v prvi vrsti posledica slabe izolacije, pa tudi slabe zrakotesnosti, zastarelih sistemov ogrevanja ali hlajenja, starih gospodinjskih in hišnih aparatov, energijsko neučinkovitih oken in vrat in drugih dejavnikov. Gre za epidemijo, ki prizadene ne le stare, temveč tudi novejše hiše. Skratka, večino slovenskih gospodinjstev. Če imate v hiši prostore, v katerih je poleti prevroče, izgubljate energijo. Če vas v istih prostorih pozimi zebe, izgubljate energijo. Če so vaši računi za porabljeno energijo sumljivo visoki, potem zagotovo izgubljate energijo. Zato je čas, da izgube ustavite. Čas je, da začnete ukrepati. Ukrepajte danes za lepši jutri. Podjetje Knauf Insulation je skupaj s partnerji za vas pripravilo strokovno in finančno ugodno rešitev vaših toplotnih izgub, ki nastajajo na ovoju stavbe. Naši energetski svetovalci vam lahko pomagajo pri odkrivanju razlogov, zaradi katerih izgubljate energijo in denar. Ko prepoznamo vaše težave, v sodelovanju z vami poiščemo rešitve. Hitreje, kot boste ukrepali, hitreje boste ustavili izgube. Pridružite se gibanju danes za jutri. Začnite ukrepati zdaj.
Yeah, so this is part of our, let's say, awareness campaign, which will be much broader, involving several medias and so on. The other part is also the evaluation of the building energy efficiency. And here we offer, let's say, two solutions. The first one is that everybody can do a quick check by himself, how efficient or non-efficient his insulation in house is. So it's a simple calculator, which is, let's say, where you put the data about your house inside, and you can make then get out the calculation how much can be saved by changing, I don't know, the thickness of the facade, the thickness of the roof. You can make, let's say, quick calculation. If somebody is living in Ljubljana, and here relatively a house built in 1970, with the classic, let's say, Slovenian big one, 50 square meter per etage, and 3 floors. Let's go then further. It's what kind of insulation is around. Let's say the typical one insulation was 8 centimeters at that time, and roof was 10 centimeters, floors without any insulation, the surface of the windows, let's say it's around 50 square meters. Let's say that in the meantime, somebody changed the heating, central heating. You're using oil. Then it's calculation. So let's say here you can check if you increase the thickness of your facade to the current standards, so to up to 240. With the calculation, you can save 1,000 euros per year by just this thing. And you can imagine, let's say the change of the renovation of the facade costs around 15 to 20,000 euros. So it's a payback in 15 years. In 15 years, so it's not bad return on investment.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up so that yeah, thank you.
We'll do it. Just it was quick. So by this way, everybody can calculate by himself how things are working. On the other side, if you find out that you have problems with your insulation, with your house, that you're losing energy because of inefficient insulation, you will be able to call our guys to come with the infrared cameras to check really how good or how bad your insulation is. They will also propose you what are the corrective measures, and also what are the estimated costs. And if you decide to go further with the projects, our partner can do for you a detailed project preparation. And we prepare also a special, let's say, offer with the partners like Velux, Jelovica, Tondach, and Bank Popar for the financing of this and for all the materials which are needed for this energy retrofit. We'll help with the supervision on the project, so our guys will be present on the renovation site, and at the end we'll help also with the certification and verification that the object targets were met. So we believe by this we enable really to offer to the people one-stop shop for energy renovation. So it means that also what is promised, or what we are promising through the awareness campaign, that is really at the end delivered, that the savings are coming. So this is part of the solutions we are offering today for the cities, and the other part is our new products which are coming. We are just launching with the Dutch partners also a special solution for green roofs, a special system which is much lighter, enabling putting the green roof also on very light constructions where things we were not able to do today. And this is something maybe for the next year to be presented. And this is also one very green solution for the cities. So maybe takeaways, just 40% of energy in Europe is wasted and 40% of energy is used by buildings. And we would like to take a leading role in this effort to capture these energy savings potential. But that's from our side.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.